Welcome. In this video, we will be diving deep in the inner working of the human brain when it comes to how we process and analyze information. It is easy to think of decision-making as a purely rational process, but the truth is that it's more complex. In fact, a lot of what we believe is influenced by mental shortcuts and cognitive biases, and these internal factors shape the way we consume and react to information every day. We'll explore concepts like heuristics and biases, cognitive dissonance, and how these mechanisms affect about how we perceive information and have a great influence in the region of fake news and disinformation. One often overlooked factor in how we analyze information is the inherent nature of the human brain itself. Our brains are not designed to process information in an infinite or perfectly rational way. In fact, they operate with limitations, both cognitive and temporal, that influence what we pay attention to, what we accept, and what we discard. These determine our information behavior and have consequences in digital context too. One of the main scholars that talk about this is Herbert Simon. In 1971, he developed the theory of bounded rationality. Simon argued that due to these cognitive limits, humans don't always strive for the best possible solution to a problem. Instead, we often aim for a satisfactory solution, one that is good enough given the circumstances. Simon's work laid the foundation for understanding how humans simplify complex decision-making processes. And the one way we do this is through the use of heuristics. What exactly are heuristics? Heuristics are mental shortcuts or rules of thumb that help us make decisions quickly, especially when we face uncertainty or lack of information. These shortcuts can be incredibly useful. They save time and energy. However, they can also misguide us, which bring us to biases. Biases are systematic tendencies to think in certain ways that can lead to errors in judgment or decision-making. These biases often stem from the heuristics we use. Daniel Kahneman, in his book Thinking Fast and Slow, outlines two systems of thinking, System 1 and System 2. System 1 is fast, intuitive, and automatic. It's the part of our brain that relies heavily on heuristics. System 1 doesn't require much effort, but it's also more disposed to mistakes because it doesn't critically reflect on the information we have. Then we have System 2, which is slower, more deliberately, and reflective. It carefully considers all the factors before making a choice. Let's go deeper on two specific heuristics that can influence our decision-making, the representative heuristic and the availability of heuristics. The first one, representative heuristics, is a mental shortcut that involves inferring the likelihood that an input, can be a person, an event, or an object, belongs to a particular category by comparing it to a mental image or a prototype. Then we have the availability heuristic. This heuristic estimates the probability of an event, the frequency of a category or association between two phenomena. It is based on the idea that we tend to believe that what we can recall most easily is the most frequent or most important. Both of these heuristics save us time, but there are also introduced biases or mistakes in judgment that affect our perception of the world. As we said, biases aren't just small errors in judgment. They can also have profound consequences when it comes to how we process information. This is especially relevant in today's information age, where disinformation and fake news are out of control. Let's talk about the confirmation bias for a moment. This is one of the most common biases, and it happens when we actively seek out information that confirms our pre-existing beliefs, while ignoring other dismissing information that contradicts them. This bias is so powerful that it can reinforce this information. People are more likely to believe information that align with their views, regardless of other that can be true. Another element associated with our way of thinking and analyzing information is the importance of the concept cognitive dissonance. This is the uncomfortable feeling that arises when holding inconsistent ideas or attitudes. It was proposed by Festinger in 1957. Cognitive dissonance is considered one of the most significant findings in social psychology. When confronted with information that contradicts our beliefs, we experience cognitive dissonance. Instead of changing our beliefs, we tend to reject new information and rationalize our prior beliefs. This phenomenon fuels resistance to correct mistakes stemming from disinformation. Let's add now another layer to this: emotion. Emotional responses can dramatically influence how we process information. Studies show that people are more likely to share emotionally charged information, whether it's a viral story or a piece of fake news. By understanding how these cognitive processes work, we can be more mindful of how we make decisions and evaluate information around us. We can ask ourselves, are we relying on emotional reaction or a mental shortcut? Are we making decisions based on fact, or are we simply confirming what we already believe? These processes are internal and are complemented by the key external factors, which we will explore in the next video.